The news at 12 o'clock with Matt Fletcher. The government has published proposals for its new independence credit scheme, which it intends to launch by the end of the year. But campaigners have criticised the reforms, which could see a significant reduction in financial support offered to carers and those with disabilities. Politics Now's Laura Ashworth said that the scheme risks leaving many vulnerable people worse off.
The fact is that under these cruel proposals, people with disabilities will see a significant reduction in real-term income with no way to make up the shortfall. Thousands of vulnerable people will lose a valuable lifeline and essentially be hung out to dry.
But with its Commons majority at risk in the upcoming Wrexham by-election, the Work and Pension Secretary Harriet Noble has insisted that the scheme is a priority for the government, delivering on its manifesto pledge to put ability back into disability.
Okay. My name's Barbara Wilson and I'm a clinical nurse specialist and medical professional and will be carrying out your PIP assessment today. You are Eleanor Baxter?
Emily.
Excuse me?
My name's Emily.
Emily, of course. And I assume that makes you her carer?
That's right.
And your name is?
Sadie.
And what relationship are you to the claimant?
I'm Emily's sister.
I'm going to ask a few questions about your day-to-day routine. This isn't a medical examination, just an overview of your conditions to help us determine where you struggle. Is that all right? But first of all, could you tell me a little bit about her condition?
I mean, she's right here. You can ask her yourself.
Yes, of course. Go on.
Well, I had a cardiac arrest in my early 20s, which led to a brain injury.
And how did you manage to do that?
Excuse me?
Your injury? How did you manage to do that?
Well, the cardiac arrest was genetic and the brain injury was a result of that.
Now, according to my records, you've requested that this assessment should be done in your own home. Can you tell me whether your condition hinders your ability to travel?
Well, yes, I've got some mobility issues.
Mobility issues. And in what other ways does your condition affect you?
I have short-term memory loss and I get tired really easily. I have problems with my balance and my handshake, which makes typing and writing difficult.
And tell me, have you ever tried harming yourself or suicide?
No.
Jesus.
Have you ever considered it?
No.
You'll receive a letter detailing the decision in the next 4 weeks. But if she's deemed fit for work...
Fit for work? Were you even paying attention in there?
I'll remind you, Miss Baxter, that the purpose of this assessment is to help us make a decision regarding her abilities. But if she is found fit for work, you'll be able to apply for a mandatory reconsideration.
Oh, good. More bureaucracy. And what happens if this independence credit thing goes ahead?
Well, that's for the government to decide, but it's likely that the claimant would have to undergo a separate reassessment.
Another one. Do you have any idea how exhausting Emily finds having to do these things every couple of years?
Oh, quite
or
aware.
whenever someone decides to streamline the system again.
Well...
Look, it's stressful enough without the threat of sanctions. Would you really not be able to use today's appointment to decide if she's eligible?
Assuming the scheme goes ahead, it would be likely to be judged on a different set of criteria.
Of course it would.
Well, I'm sure you'll appreciate how important it is that we make sure that financial support gets to the right people.
Yeah, of course. Like the shareholders of whichever outsourcing company it is you work for.
Thank you very much for your time, and you'll be hearing from us soon.
So, in essence, the Independence Credit Scheme spearheads the government's initiative to overhaul the existing benefit system for full-time carers and their families. Instead of a wide variety of sources, many of which are redundant, thus encouraging wasteful spending, Independence Credit consolidates the existing benefits and credits into a single monthly payment. The relevant departments will introduce a streamlined application system which eliminates the need to apply to multiple government departments, both on a national and local level. It cuts through red tape, and it denies undeserved access to entitlement programs to those who are just looking for a free ride. In order to make the process more accessible, those who require Independence Credit will be able to apply via the brand new app, which will soon be available from the App Store, the App Store. E-government in action. Now, I know you hear all sorts of hysterical protests and terrifying spin from the opposition's so-called activists. But let me reassure you, Independence Credit has been designed with the utmost care, and no one will be left out. Does anyone have any questions?
How will this affect benefits?
Yes, I can answer that, but not with any specific figures, but according to the calculations of the departmental boffins, you will be significantly better off than under the existing system. In fact, detailed proposals are published later this week, so you'll be able to see for yourself just how much better off you will be. This proposal is in complete accordance with our election manifesto to put ability back into disability. Honestly, who comes up with this bollocks? How do you put ability back into disability?
It was a manifesto pledge which, I'll remind you, you were elected on.
It's a nonsense statement is what it is. It's one of Damien's diuretic brainstorms, no doubt. Do you know one good thing about being a government minister?
150 grand a year and a ministerial car?
It's the one job where you're guaranteed to get fired. Personally, I can't wait for the day that he succumbs to his own stench. And then they complain that I don't have the figures. Well, of course, I don't have the figures. They don't give government ministers the figures, because we always mess them up. All I get are 5 pages of key phrases that must be included, otherwise the message calendar will be inaudible, or whatever it was they said at the meeting. I can't remember.
Well, either way, I don't think they got it.
Of course they didn't get it. They're not supposed to get it. If they got it, they'd be furious. Oh, sorry, Nicole. Sorry. I'm venting. What have you got planned for tomorrow?
You have a briefing at 10:30 about the Rawalpindi trip.
Where?
Rawalpindi. It's in Pakistan.
Right, got it.
Then you have the Radio 4 interview at noon, and you're on a conference call with the Moldovans at 2.
The one trade deal to rule them all.
Shall I schedule another consultation about independence credit?
No, I'm not doing it anymore. This is the last consultation that you see me do. I've pretended for long enough that I support the Prime Minister's social reforms, but this is monstrous.
Mr. Harrington, the party was elected.
I have been in Parliament for 35 years, Nicole. 35 years. And I've kissed the ring of every Prime Minister and Chief Whip we've ever had. And I've made it to the front bench. I'm not just some third banana Secretary of State for pencils and other stationery, a proper minister. But these days they're courting all kinds of nutters and unpleasant people. I don't recognize the party anymore. For years I've borne the whip without complaint. But I haven't forgotten what it means to be a parliamentarian. I'm going to give Damien a piece of my mind. And I don't care how much he threatens me, there is nothing that he can do to stop me. Don't you dare tell anyone I said that.
So just to confirm, I've renewed Emily's prescription for her bisoprolol.
And the Ramipril?
It's on there too.
Okay, great. Thanks.
How are you doing?
Oh, yeah, you know, she has good days and bad.
No, not Emily. How are you doing?
Me? Yeah, I'm okay, I guess.
Talk to me, Sadie. You look tired.
Does it show?
More so than usual.
Yeah, I mean, Emily is my entire world now. And that's not a complaint. I'm happy to look after her. Yeah. And really, I am. But you know, some days are harder than others. And those days nearly always start with a brown envelope sticking through your letterbox outlining whatever new hoops someone's decided you need to jump through. Yeah. I can never say any of this to her. None of it's her fault.
It's okay to struggle. You do a difficult job.
Yeah, I guess I know how guilty Emily would feel if she thought I was struggling. Is it really too much to ask that the institutions which are meant to support us didn't seem designed to fail? Sorry. She had her PIP reassessment yesterday, which again I had to fight for just so she could have it at home. And then the woman that did it.
It's inhuman, the lengths they go to.
Yeah, it really is. And as for these new reforms?
Have you looked at what they're planning?
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I don't think we'd be able to afford any outside care anymore.
You're not the only one I've heard that from.
Do you think they'll go ahead with it?
They'll try. Although, you never know. One more scandal and the government could collapse by Friday.
We can only hope.
Listen. I'm part of this organization, the Disability Campaign Group. We've got a big protest planned for next weekend, if you're free. I think it would be good for the both of you.
And my friend Abby and I, we used to be big into this sort of stuff back in uni. As a full-time carer, I literally don't have time.
Oh, take it. If nothing else, you know that we're rooting for you.
Thank you. I'll see you in a few months.
See you then. And don't let them grind you down.
Mr. Mark Compton.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I have always been very clear about my reservations regarding the frequent changes to the points-based immigration system of this country. But, Mr. Speaker,
the time has come.
The time has come.
For our sovereign isle.
For our sovereign isle.
To finally take control of its
finally
borders.
take back control of its borders. And that is why I will be voting with the government this evening.
Good boy. Come in.
What does it seem, Damien?
Ah, Michael. Take a seat. How are things?
Fine.
And the wife?
Still left me?
Oh, yes. Good for her. Brandy?
Well, I suppose it is after 6.
So, Michael, I've been informed it was time the Chief saw Harrington.
Oh? Whatever for?
Little birdie tells me you're planning to vote against the bill.
Where do you hear that?
You should know by now. I have ears everywhere.
For God's sake, Nicole.
Perhaps I ought to send a copy of your voting record to your constituency chairman.
You know full well I have always voted along the party line.
And therein lies the problem. Internal polling says we're going to lose Wrexham. In 5 weeks, we'll no longer have a majority in the House.
Perhaps we oughtn't have put up the same candidate who got done for expenses fraud.
The independence credit vote is going to be a 3-line whip. If you go and join the awkward squad by voting against it now, you'll only be making life harder for all of us. The party needs your vote.
To hell with the party. This isn't bloody China. I won't do it. The whole thing is inhuman.
To hell with the party. You're a part of government now, Michael. This isn't the time to start growing a conscience.
I've been in this house longer than you have, Damien. Have you any idea how long it took to shake being called the nasty party?
We won on the promise of austerity.
Barely won.
And you know full well the mess we inherited from the last government.
It's been 13 years.
We can't have you out there upsetting the electorate by failing to deliver on our flagship policy.
The electorate or the donors?
You've been in this house long enough to know how this works. We can't afford to give people an easy ride just because they've got a sob story.
This isn't a game, Damien. We would be condemning thousands of people to lives of misery just to save a pittance.
Cut back on the principles. You really don't wear them well. This might be of some interest. Read it. Aloud, Michael. Read it aloud.
Michael Harrington, Secretary of State for the Department of International Trade, on October the 3rd, 1991, then Parliamentary Undersecretary for Energy, Harrington entered into a non-disclosure agreement with a former member of his parliamentary team who had accused him of racially motivated unfair dismissal.
No.
The staffer accused Harrington of referring to her as...
Go on.
I can tell what you're doing.
What was that you were saying about the nasty party?
That whole thing, it was a misunderstanding.
Oh, I'm sure your marginal constituents of Chingford would understand. 346, your majority, wasn't it?
How did you find out about this?
It's my job to know where the bodies are buried. I literally know where there are bodies buried. Frankly, you're quite dull by comparison.
You pathetic little man, Damien. Do you honestly believe that you can blackmail me into backing this odious policy?
Oh, God, no.
What?
I'm not trying to sway you.
Has this evening resigned from the government following an outcry over historic allegations of racism. Downing Street has issued a statement saying that whilst the Prime Minister appreciates the serious approach with which Mr Harrington has undertaken his cabinet position, it was wholly unacceptable for a minister to have ever used such language.
I'm making an example of you.
You can't do that.
The Prime Minister wishes to thank you for a job well squandered. Oh, you should have known. It was inevitable.
You're as inevitable as a rat in a sewer.
I'd hold off quoting Enoch Powell if I were you, especially given your current situation. Now, obviously, in light of these revelations, you'll no longer be entitled to the ministerial car. But it's not all bad. Here's some money for the bus fare home.
I'll get you for this.
Be sure to let me know when you do. I'd hate to miss it.
Police are asking for anyone with information about the robbery to contact Crime Stoppers immediately. The Trade Secretary, Michael Harrington, has resigned following the emergence of historic allegations of racism towards a former staffer. But this evening, Mr Harrington refused to comment on suggestions that he should stand down and make way for another by-election.
Mr Harrington, is there any truth to the allegations made against you?
I have this evening resigned from the government. I feel it would be inappropriate to comment any further on the matter.
Are you considering your position in Parliament this evening?
Listen, I shall continue to represent and fight for my constituents from the back benches, where I fully intend to vote down the Independence Credit Bill. And I refuse to be beaten into submission by the Chief Whip and his little black book. Good evening.
Downing Street has yet to name Mr Harrington's successor. Meanwhile, as campaigning for the Wrexham by-election gets into full swing,
So good to see you.
I know, you too.
I can't believe it's been so long.
I know, I'm sorry. I don't exactly get the house much these days.
Oh, no, don't be silly. Nothing to apologise for. How's Emily?
Yeah, she's good. But, I mean, you know, it's tough.
Are you taking care of her now, full time?
Yeah, I did look into going back to work part-time, but then there's a chance I'd lose my cares allowance, which means we'd actually end up worse off, so... Thank God Mum left us the house, otherwise I literally do not know how we would get by.
She was an amazing woman.
Yeah, she really was. Can you imagine a single mum being able to get her own place in a nurse's salary nowadays?
Can't imagine how hard it must be. Especially this fucking government. They're only in it for themselves.
When have they not been?
Something's no change.
Anyway, what about you? Any news?
Well...
Oh my God, of course! Yeah. Congratulations!
Thanks.
God.
Yeah.
How long's it been?
Just over a year.
God, already?
Yeah.
I'm so sorry I couldn't be there. Oh, I really want to, but...
Completely understand.
Yeah. Zach, right? But I would love to meet him, obviously. So how is married life treating you?
Good. Yeah, it's different, but good. We're really good together.
Oh, good. I'm so happy for you. And how's work going?
I mainly stay at home these days.
What, you become a stay-at-home housewife? You?
It just sort of happened.
Oh, what would young Abby say if she knew one day you'd end up embracing the patriarchy?
No. Well, Zach's business is doing really well, and I had the opportunity to take some time off, you know, figure things out.
I'm guessing the lobbying didn't turn out to be the fulfilling career you'd always wanted then.
Let's just say working for a think tank wasn't the same as organising a demo in a rundown student flat.
Do you miss it?
The activism? God, yeah. You know what? As bad as it was back then, at least we had some idea of what to do, even if it never worked. These days it all feels so hopeless. We had some good times, didn't we?
We did. About that. So, I'm putting together a job.
A job? Make it sound like a robbery?
Well...
Okay, I don't need money.
It's not about money.
If you're desperate, you know I'd help.
It's bigger than that.
How big? You're shitting me. I just don't understand. The whole building is falling down and there's nothing of value in there.
Power is valuable.
It's hardly tangible though, is it?
Just hear me out. Okay, in a few weeks' time, the people in that building are going to pass the Independence Credit Bill, which will make it harder for Emily and I and thousands of others like us to survive.
So we march, we petition, we make our voices heard.
And look how that turned out for tuition fees or Iraq. You and I were there were millions on the street. It didn't make a blind bit of difference.
We were on the right side of history.
Yeah, well, that's not enough for me. No, there's being right and then there's actually doing something about it.
We'd be breaking the law.
In a limited and specific way.
I can help you financially.
It's not about money. Sorry, I know you mean well, but this is bigger than just us. We can't sit on the sidelines and let this happen.
Talk me through it.
Okay, who is the most powerful person in that building?
The Prime Minister?
More powerful than that.
When the government introduces a bill, it first has to be voted through the House of Commons before it can become law. It is the role of the whips to ensure that MPs vote in line with their party. In the case of the government whips, it's ultimately their responsibility that the legislation they introduce passes. But this can prove especially difficult when they have a slim majority in the House, and just a handful of rebellious MPs can make the difference between a successful bill and a humiliating government defeat. It is the whip's influence that ultimately ensures the government's agenda is fulfilled, and it has been suggested that whoever holds the whip holds the power. To assist with that influence, it's long been rumoured that the chief whip keeps a little black book filled with dirt on his honourable friends, should a particularly difficult member of the party's vote ever need to be swayed.
That is what we are going to steal.
I'm sorry. You want to break in to one of the most secure buildings in the country, steal a dossier full of blackmail material that implicates the most powerful people in the land, and somehow get away with it despite never having done anything like this before. Oh, you'll never be able to sell it.
We're not going to sell it. We're going to leak it to the press.
You're insane.
You always said that you wanted to cause a political earthquake. In the right hands, that book could go off with a bigger bang than even Guy Fawkes could have dreamed of. Give it to a hungry journalist, and it might just generate enough scandal to
bring down the government.
Exactly. Whoever holds the whip holds the power.
You'll never get away with it.
We might.
They'll come after you.
We always were up for a fight.
Compton's got the trade job. Talk about a revolving door of incompetence.
Some things never change.
Did you buy that just for this?
Sure, don't tell. Plus, it'll be fun. Like the good old days.
Look, supposing I did agree to help, what would we need?
Well, I guess a safe house would be a good place to start.
Will this do? So if we do this, how do you suggest we get in?
Parliament belongs to the people. We can go in whenever we like.
But if we're there to steal something, there's likely to be an element of trespassing.
Which, fun fact, isn't technically illegal unless you're physically breaking and entering.
Even so, I hate to dispel your illusions, but it's going to take more than 2 women to simply walk in off the street and rob the Houses of Parliament.
I never said it was just going to be us. We're going to need someone on the inside.
Oh,
but I have an idea. Just leave that to me.
What else?
Well, if that book's all it's hyped up to be, we're going to make a lot of enemies. If we won't even have a chance of getting away with it, we can't leave a trace. So we're going to need someone to disable the security cameras somehow.
I might actually know someone.
Really?
My nephew, Zach's sister's kid. He's young.
Not to counter a sweeping generalization, but being young doesn't automatically make him a tech wizard.
No, he got into trouble a few years back for breaching his school's network and adding a filter to one of the CCTV cameras. It was just a prank, but they suspended him for a week.
Do you think we can trust him?
Oh, yeah. He's trouble.
Hey, Carla. Did you have a good day?
Yeah, it was nice. Just caught up with an old friend. Everything okay here?
All good, all good. Yeah, and just Emily's had a medication for tonight, so you don't need to worry about that.
Amazing, thanks so much.
No problem.
Listen, Carla, I know it's kind of late notice, but I don't suppose you might be free to look after her again on Friday?
Yeah, should be fine, yeah, as long as you call my agency. Doing anything nice?
Not really, no. Just someone I need to see.
Hello? Jason?
Yup.
How are you?
Working?
Cool. Are your parents around?
Nope.
Listen, I was hoping to have a chat with you.
What?
Mr. Harrington?
Hello, Miss...
Baxter. Sadie Baxter.
Miss Baxter. Pleasure to meet you.
You too.
Do take a seat. Now, how can I help?
You remember that stunt you pulled at school?
The one I got kicked out for. Vaguely, yeah.
Well, I might need you to do something similar for me.
What are you up to?
Promise you won't tell.
I wanted to thank you for taking a stand against this independence credit thing.
Oh, you're welcome.
I'm a full-time carer for my sister. She experienced a brain injury a few years ago.
Oh, I'm very sorry to hear that.
Well, we really appreciate having you fighting our corner.
I want you to rest assured I will never vote for that bill, no matter what they throw at me.
That is what I was hoping to hear.
In the meantime, is there any local matter I can help you with?
Oh, I'm not a constituent.
Oh, I see. Well, this surgery is meant for constituents only.
I think they might have given up on you.
Hypothetically speaking, I might need to gain access to a heavily secured building, preferably unseen.
You're gonna rob a bank?
No! No. Not a bank.
You're gonna help me stop that bill.
Miss Baxter, there's nothing more that I can do.
I wouldn't be so sure.
All I need is for you to shut down some security cameras for a few minutes. Do you think you can do it?
Yeah, probably.
Great.
What's the take?
Something big.
I have an idea, but I'm gonna need help from someone like yourself. A sympathetic party on the inside.
Go on.
We're gonna bring down
the government.
I don't do politics.
I think you should leave.
17,000 people died after the last set of reforms, and you voted for every single one.
Miss Baxter, I had no choice. I was a government minister. There had to be collective responsibility.
You would have to be blind not to see the damage you've done. You owe it to them. To us.
We're the 5th richest country in the world, and yet our levels of social inequality are off the scale. Don't you want to help people, Jason?
Why on earth should I help you to burn my party to the ground?
Revenge.
What do you say?
Nah.
Oh.
Now, if you excuse me, I have some paid work to get on with.
I'll give you 500 quid.
We're on. Hello? Yeah, through the gate on the left, and the door should be open. See you in a second. He's here.
Miss Baxter!
Sadie, please, come on in.
Sorry I'm late. I'm not used to finding my own way around.
No, don't worry about it. Michael, this is Abby.
Hello, Abby.
I know who you are. What the hell is he doing here?
He is our inside man.
He's a racist piece of shit.
Now, steady on.
Why is there a racist piece of shit in my garage?
It was a misunderstanding. If I can just explain.
Just give us 1 minute.
Why didn't you tell me it was him?
Because I knew you would get angry.
I am angry.
Well, then I was
He
right.
has no place on our team. He's one of them.
We need him.
We can find someone else.
Who? There isn't anyone else.
What even makes you think we can trust him? He is the reason we even need to do this in the first place.
He had to. It was collective responsibility.
Oh, so he was only following orders. Great. His lot implemented austerity.
Abby, think about it. We need someone that has been chewed up and spat out, that knows that side of the house inside out. Yeah. Try to be civil.
I'm Michael.
I hate you and everything you represent.
You don't have to like me. But this would be a lot easier if you could work with me.
Hey. Oh, snap. Aren't you that racist?
It was a misunderstanding.
Sit down, Jason.
Firstly, I want to thank you all for coming. By now, you know the stakes. What we're planning to do here is unprecedented. It's not going to be easy. By opening these floodgates, we're going to piss off some very powerful, maybe even dangerous people. I can't promise they're not going to come after us. If we succeed, the consequences will be seismic. But it's not going to be any of our names that are in the history books. In fact, outside of this room, we may never even be able to speak of it again. I also can't stress enough that there isn't going to be some big payoff. We're not going to be walking away with $100 million like they do in the movies. We're not doing this for financial gain.
Well,
If that's going to be a problem for anyone, then I thank you for your time. But from this point onwards, I need anyone that remains in this room to be fully committed, 100%. This is your last chance to walk away. Okay, time to organize. Michael?
The whip keeps the book in a safe behind the desk in his office. And the trouble is, he's there most of the time. He's the beating heart of the government. He's the first to arrive, he's the last to leave. And one of us ought to tail him, regardless. We need to strike when he's otherwise engaged, rounding up the troops.
The day of the vote. I might be stating the obvious here, but if the whole point is to bring down the government before they can pass the bill, won't that be too late?
Well, it still has to go through the House of Lords before it goes for royal assent. But if our plan works, and there's no government in place, and Parliament is prorogued...
The bill falls at the final hurdle. How long do we have?
Well, the clock is ticking, and we'll want to table the bill before we risk losing our majority in Wrexham. That gives us 3 weeks, 4 at best.
Then we better get cracking. You said he keeps it in a safe?
Yeah, some old-fashioned thing. He has rather a taste for the theatrical.
Does it have a key, or is it a combination lock?
It's a dial, I think. I'll find out. Now, when you enter the building, go through the central lobby. To your left, the House of Commons. To your right, the House of Lords. And straight ahead is the cheapest bar in London.
Our taxes at work?
Here on the left is a staircase, and the whip's office is on the first floor. Now, what you could do is you could join the queue for the public gallery, could slip away in the central lobby, and I could take you from there. But we would need access to the office.
Trespassing.
Well, only if you're actually...
Just kick the door in.
That's vandalism.
We will find a way. But that all seems pretty straightforward. Get in, get out, bring down a government. Simple.
As long as we don't all get arrested.
The whip won't want to get the police involved. It would be far too humiliating for him, having lost the book, given what's inside. He won't want to attract the attention of the authorities, but doesn't mean he won't come after us.
Which is why we need Jason to handle the security cameras. There can't be any record of us being there.
Oh, perhaps we can all sign an NDA.
Well, I had a look at the 360 tour on the website. There's a couple of security cameras in the lobby, but not much else.
They only have them in the public areas. It's something to do with being listed.
Anything outside?
There's a couple outside, but I guess that's controlled by the police.
Yeah, it's all part of the government security area, and the whip won't have access to any of that footage.
Well, I'll need access to the internal network.
Could you do that from my office?
If it's inside, then yeah, sure.
I could get you in as my intern. We'd have to keep you separate from the team on the day because you'd be signed in. Which, I suppose, means that we need to synchronize watches.
I don't have a watch.
Yeah, me neither.
Really?
I just use my phone.
Same.
Oh.
Right. Any questions?
Yeah.
Jason?
What's a whip?
Jason.
So,
are the glasses really necessary?
Reservoir dogs in it.
You know, they all die in the end. Follow me.
It's a bit less posh for you here.
What these corridors lack in glamour, they make up for with power. Watch out, that's him.
Michael?
Damien.
How thoroughly dull to see you.
The displeasure is all mine.
And who's this little publicity stunt of yours, then?
This is Jason, my new intern. Jason, this is Damien, my cabinet colleague.
Former colleague, Harrington. You resigned in disgrace, remember? I wonder if Jason knows why.
Because he's a racist.
I like him. Anyway, mustn't keep the driver waiting.
Prick.
Prick with a ministerial car, though.
Take a seat.
What's the Wi-Fi?
There isn't any. There's a cable on the desk.
Seriously?
Well, they didn't factor in coverage in 1870. So, talk me through it. Are you going to be hacking the mainframe, as they say? Well, that was quick.
I ran a scan for every device on the network, and it just popped up. Whatever idiot decided to connect the cameras through the corporate network had no idea what they were doing.
Probably a party donor.
He didn't even ask me for a password or anything. The whole network security is shocking.
We'll flag that one up. Ooh, right, personal.
If I can overload the router, should be able to reboot it. Can buy us some time.
How long?
Like 5 minutes?
That won't be enough.
I can probably do it a couple of times. I bet they're always rebooting it. The whole system's a joke.
You know, I've been thinking about key code.
For the prick's office.
Glad you made an impression. Obviously, I don't know anything about this sort of thing, but the cleaners must have a record of all the entry codes.
It's worth a look. Yeah. There you go. Every security code for every door in one file.
How do you do that?
The network security is...
Shocking, right.
So what's his room number?
109.
109 40579.
Of course it is. The day Mrs. T took office.
Who?
So, I suppose I'll see you on Tuesday then.
Suppose so.
Good work today, Jason.
Thanks. I'll see ya.
That's a man that can't let go.
40579.
Is that pressure okay?
Yeah, good.
Hang on. Did you lift that from my pocket?
Maybe.
Okay, you're gonna have to show me how to do that. No. Nope. Nope. That one!
Vintage Pendlebury combination safe, good condition, less than 3 miles from here. £700?
We need it.
I never realised robberies were so bloody expensive. Do you want to do the honours? Oh, for Christ's sake.
I mean, you are married to a millionaire.
Morning.
We just got safe.
Ah, fantastic.
Woo bloody who.
Jason, how did you get on?
Yeah, good. The network's a complete mess. The camera isn't even encrypted. I managed it in no time.
He did. It was most impressive.
Well, that is good news for us.
I just need to DDoS the router. That should take everything offline. Give us maybe about 5 minutes.
Is that all?
Well, I can do it a couple of times, but by the third one, they'll definitely know it's coming from inside the building.
So you're going to need to get out of there fast.
Yeah, the trouble with that is I have to reboot it manually. But it's fine. I can run.
Okay, so you can give us, what, a 15-minute window?
More or less.
Good work.
And Jason also managed to get the entry code for his office. And I tried it, it works. I managed to resist pissing in his brandy.
Delightful.
To be fair, we met him on the way up. He would have deserved it.
Jason?
Hey, Uncle Zach.
Hey, man, how you doing?
Zach, you're home.
Yeah, I just put by to get something. Aren't you?
No.
He gets that a lot.
Babe, what's going on?
Book club?
Book club.
I've started a book club.
In the garage. Don't you need a book for book club?
Teething problems. It's all a bit new.
Right. Look, I'm just gonna grab this.
I'll see you tonight.
See you later.
Love you.
Bye, Uncle Zach.
Bye.
Book club.
I panicked.
As I was saying, we still need to break down our rules for the day, but Abby, I think you should be our eyes on the whip. Michael, once you show me where the office is, I'll handle the raid. That's the risky part.
What are we going to do with the book once we have it?
I think I know who we can send it to.
But if we're sending it anonymously, how will they ever know it's real?
They'll know.
And what if it doesn't work? What if they publish it and it turns out that nobody gives a shit?
It will work.
And how can you be so sure of that?
Well, it got you to hate me, didn't it?
Okay. Well, I don't think there's much more we can do until we get the safe. Anyone fancy a drive?
Anything exciting going on?
Just checking my socials, innit? Passes the time.
Waste of time. When I was your age, you had to learn how to be bored.
Is that why you got into politics?
Politics isn't boring. It's not. Politics shapes people's lives, from fixing potholes to influencing the economy.
It's pretty boring.
Politics, it's like football.
I thought you lot wanted to keep politics out of football.
On the contrary, it's footballers getting involved with politics that terrifies them.
Then maybe you should stop picking fights with them then.
I agree. What team do you support?
Chelsea.
What? You've got your Red Devils and your boys in blue. Both have their legion of supporters, and each one wants to control the ball, or in this case, the country. There's also Norwich City over there, but we try to not let them get on the pitch unless we're a few men short.
All right, so how do you score a goal?
Well, you've got your home team, the government, and they want to pass legislation. And for the most part, it's the opposition's job to catch the ball and stop them. Of course, some of us are a bit old-fashioned, and we tend to think that things are better if you put aside your differences and come together.
There's a chant you don't hear on a Saturday afternoon.
Much as you may hate any team that isn't Chelsea, there wouldn't be a game without them. The same for Parliament. Government needs a strong opposition to keep it in check, otherwise the whole thing falls apart. How old are you now?
21.
So did you vote in the last election?
Nah, they're all the same. I mean, the people that get in anyway.
So you threw away your vote just because you thought that your team wouldn't win?
The system's rigged.
Jason, your generation is supposed to be the optimistic ones. I mean, might seem that you're putting your cross on some insignificant ballot paper, but honestly, it's like having a superpower. The box that you mark has the power to change the world, but you only have it if you actually engage.
I might if you lot actually made it interesting.
Yeah, well, that's why we don't. It's weaponized boredom.
Your generation tends to not vote for our lot, so why would we encourage you?
Thanks for the help, lads.
Didn't ask.
So, does anyone know how to pick a lock?
What combination did she give you?
348752.
What on earth are you doing?
She's listening for the sound it makes when it hits the right number. Show, don't tell.
Okay, you got the instructions? Does it say how to change the combination?
Raise the levering pin on the inside of the door and set your 3-digit combination.
Okay, do it.
Okay.
Okay. Shit.
Don't worry, we'll figure it out.
The internet.
£700.
The issue is that you've deemed my sister, who can't even get dressed unaided, as being fit to work.
Well, it seems that our assessment found that the claimant, Eleanor...
Emily.
found that Emily's quality of life isn't significantly impaired by her condition. And, as such, she'll no longer be entitled to some of the financial support previously afforded to her.
The quality of her life hasn't been impaired. You've no fucking idea. And what about the quality of my life? I'm the one that has to look after her.
If you'd like to begin the mandatory reconsideration process, I can log that on the system for you.
And how long does that take?
Once the paperwork's been filled, you'll receive a decision in approximately 8 weeks.
8 weeks?
Would you like me to do that for you?
Yes, send the forms.
Okay. I've arranged for the form to be mailed to you within the next 10 working days. Is there anything else I can help you with?
Mr. Harrington! Mr. Harrington! George Stevens. I'm a researcher for the News at 1. I was wondering if we could trouble you for a few words on the latest Wrexham polling numbers.
I'm so sorry. I'm on my way to vote for something.
I know, but we're just over here. I promise you it'll only take a minute. Mr. Harrington?
Shit! Did this not occur to you before?
I'm not generally in the habit of plotting heists.
How likely is it there'll be TV cameras there?
On the day of a major vote, 100%.
Shit. Jason?
If they're on a live satellite feed, there's nothing I can do.
Is there any other route into the whip's office?
Only via the Sovereign's entrance, but even I'm not allowed through there.
There must be a way.
Not without leaving a trace.
I don't have a choice.
It's all right. We've got time to figure this out.
No, we don't.
Well, it's been a long time coming, but I'm very pleased that we will finally be able to deliver on our manifesto pledge and put ability back into disability.
Once again, breaking news. In the last few minutes, it's been announced that there will be a vote this Thursday on the government's flagship independence credit bill.
Shit.
We must have got the numbers.
We're screwed. 2 days. Does anyone have any ideas?
I'm sorry, Miss Baxter. There's really nothing I can do.
But I've arranged last-minute care for her before.
I'm afraid we're short-staffed at the moment.
Yeah, I really need to make this appointment. What am I meant to do? Leave her on her own?
I would obviously advise against that.
Emily?
Hey.
Hey. I get, obviously, this is harder on you than it is on me. But I've been struggling for a while now.
I'm sorry.
Hey, no, don't say sorry, okay? This is not your fault.
Okay.
Don't you dare think that. But if this new scheme goes ahead, I honestly think we're done for. Now, there is one thing I can try, and sorry, I can't tell you what it is, and it's not going to make our lives any easier, but it might at least stop them from getting harder.
Okay.
But it means I'm going to have to leave you on your own for a bit.
Oh.
Yeah, I know I wouldn't do it if I could see another way, but I have to. For you. For me, for everyone else that's like us.
Okay.
I don't feel like I've got a choice. Hey, I love you. You know that, right?
Of course. It's gonna be okay.
The internet.
What? Abby, it's 6 a.m.
This is from a couple of weeks ago.
Talk now to our political editor, Catherine Nichols, who's been listening to today's proceedings. Catherine, you might want to explain, first of all, what the noise is behind you.
Yeah, things have gotten a little lively here in the central lobby, which has
You're
taken
just
the
showing me
focus
the
off
problem.
today's proceedings. A number of protesters have made their way into the building because of their...
You can't film this.
Excuse me?
You're not allowed to film this.
Why not?
It's part of the rules and conditions of you being here. Stop, please. Yep.
Well,
Thank you.
as you can see, we're not allowed to film this, so unfortunately we'll have to hand back to you in the studio.
Apologies for that, but we will, of course, take you back to Westminster as soon as possible.
I checked. It took 15 minutes for them to get back on air.
It's tight.
But within our window.
Okay, right, we need to organise.
Leave it to me. You've got enough on your plate. There's, something else we should talk about.
Go on.
I've been thinking. I should be the one to raid the office, not you.
What? Abby, no, you guys are all doing this because of me. I should be the one that takes the risk.
Yeah. But what about Emily? If something goes wrong and I get arrested, then big deal. The crazy activist girl had it coming. But if you get caught, what happens to Emily?
I can't ask you to do that.
I want to. I finally got a chance to do something that might actually make a difference. And she needs you.
Thank you. Don't you dare get caught.
Morning. First one, I see. Abby, I was hoping to have a little chat with you about,
If you're going to hit me with a charm offensive, I have better things to do.
No. I just wanted you to know that the whole thing, it was a mistake.
That's the thing with your lot. You're always blaming other people.
My mistake.
What?
I did something stupid. And I used a word that is completely inappropriate.
You should have known better.
Yes, I should have done. And I was embarrassed by it. That's why I arranged for that non-disclosure agreement. And that was wrong too. I know that you'd never vote for me. I'm not even asking you to forgive me. I just want you to know that I've learned from my mistakes. And whatever divides might exist between us, we're heading for the same destination. We just don't agree about the route there, that's all. It's a lot easier to get things done when you're bipartisan. I promise you that for this one, we're on the same side.
Okay.
Okay? Friends?
Don't push it.
What did I miss? Okay, book club. This is it. Today we face down the proponents of austerity, those working in the interests of party donors and corporate lobbyists. Today, we show them what we can achieve when we set our differences aside for the greater good and stand together for what's right. Today, thousands are counting on us to put an end to social injustice. Today, we hit them with the one thing they are counting against, our willingness to fight back.
Good luck.
And today, we show them the power of our union. Let's bring down the government.
It is one of my first votes.
For, but to not before voting again.
Of course.
So we're going live at the top of the hour, yeah? Okay. You join us here live from Westminster on what's set to be a dramatic afternoon as the government finally attempts to pass its independent credit initiative. Yes. You join us now from live. You join us live from Westminster on what's set to be a dramatic afternoon as the government finally attempts to pass. Join us live from Westminster on what's set to be a dramatic afternoon as the government finally attempts to pass its...
That's him, over there.
Okay, got it. Hey, good luck.
Follow me.
Please work. Shit.
Keith. Oh, Damien. Yes. Hi, how are you? Good. Nervous. About the vote? It's a big one.
Abby, what are you doing? We're not meant to be on our phone.
It isn't here. What? The safe's empty.
Let me help you with that. So, do
He has a weapon.
know?
What? Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now.
You know more than anyone, but no more than Catherine.
Shit!
What?
He has it with him.
What?
I...
I'm heading back down.
Yeah, but what about...
Head for the rendezvous. Stick to the plan.
Michael's on his way.
Okay, tell him to hurry.
You're sure he's got it?
Yeah, it's in his pocket.
You're absolutely certain?
Yes.
It's time the chief saw Harrington.
What?
Be ready.
Wait, what are you doing?
Damien, can I have a word?
Michael, you old inbuggerant. I don't suppose you've had a change of heart, have you?
No, I'm afraid not. Bang goes the knighthood.
Where's Michael?
Taking one for the team. Come on.
In the strangers bar? You're kidding. Who?
I'll fucking finish you for this, Harry.
Let me know when you do. I'd hate to miss it.
Oh, you don't think I've got more on you? I own every shithead in this place!
No, you don't.
Fuck off! Just fuck off! It was on my person. I was assaulted and I was robbed, okay? It's a little black book, and I cannot stress to you the importance that it does not leave this building. Do you understand?
I absolutely do understand, Mr. Wilson. What would you like me to do about it? Because we can't search everyone as they leave the building.
Package for you, Laura.
Thanks.
Whatever you're doing, cancel it. I've got something huge.
Well, Martin, it's been an absolutely seismic day here at Westminster, and while some had anticipated fireworks, what they got was full-blown chaos. Events first took a dramatic turn at lunchtime when a disability campaign group brought the building to a standstill with protests. But it was when a fight broke out between two prominent MPs shortly after that the sitting of Parliament itself was suspended to allow law enforcement to question those involved. And tonight, in further developments, sources are claiming that a technical outage may have led to a lack of CCTV footage of the altercation, which will no doubt fuel further conspiracy. So, where does that leave the government's much-touted independence credit bill? With today's vote postponed, it seems unlikely that they'll get another go before next week's by-election, leaving the government and its flagship policy on very shaky ground.
The government has lost its majority in the House of Commons in the wake of the Wrexham by-election. Independent candidate Sarah Davies unseated Edmund Hogg following a conviction for expenses fraud in November, further fueling speculation that a snap general election may now be imminent. It comes as a huge blow as the government continues to deal with fallout from the leak of a supposed dirt book, which today claimed another casualty, the recently appointed Trade Secretary Mark Compton. It's alleged that in 2007, Mr. Compton, whilst manager of a bedroom furnishings company, made inappropriate advances towards a female employee. In a statement, Mr. Compton said that the allegations were a source of deep personal regret, before going on to add that he no longer sells mattresses.